So we're back. Next, it's been since the end of June, I think, since you last talked about plans for linking library data to Wikipedia. And so we're here to give kind of maybe a halftime report on what's going on with VIAF-bot.
Right, well it has been a long time since we announced our plans to do this, but it's finally running, as you can see in the background, and entertain yourselves with the names as they scroll by. But because it has been so long, perhaps you could remind us again what VIAF is before we delve into some of the nitty-gritty details.
Sure, right. So VIAF is the Virtual International Authority File. It is a service that's run by OCLC, and it brings together major name authorities, mostly from national libraries. There are at least 21 institutions participating in that, and I think about at least 16 countries that are represented in that. So it's a big data asset and really useful for disambiguating personal and corporate names, which is where Wikipedia comes in.
Right.
So VIAF-bot.
Right. Well, it all started quite a long time ago when a cohort of mine, Andrew Gray at the British Library, and some other Wikipedians were discussing the use of the authority control template in Wikipedia, which uses VIAF as one of its authorities, but also the German National Library and Library of Congress, as well as a couple of others. And they were discussing about how to get this in larger usage. And so finally we've arrived at this product, which is the fact that we're automatically filling it using this bot.
Yeah. So can you say, just for those who aren't involved deeply with Wikipedia, can you kind of take us through some of the steps that you had to go through to get the bot approved?
Right. Well, interestingly, a lot of this, when I say discussed on Wikipedia, that has kind of a narrow meaning, or it means something probably that you don't expect, which is that it's a very long forum post, essentially, right? We're discussing on the talk pages. And that was, after discussing on some user talk pages for a while, I went to what's called the Village Pump. And then after the Village Pump...
Village Pump.
Yes, so the first step is to go to the Village Pump, which is where you sort of air out your ideas and discuss them amongst people. And this is the clever name that's given to that sort of setting, which again is just another long page of text, but is the proper forum. After that, which takes a while, after you get sort of like a little bit of consensus at the Village Pump to continue, you can go through what's known as an RFC, which stands for Request for Comment. And then the Request for Comment process is sort of more formal. You have to have a proposal, and then people do show their support or opposition, but we don't vote. We still work on consensus at that point. So we did take some consensus.
Yeah.
There was another step though. After that I had to go through yet another approval process, the third of the variety, which was bots for approval, and bot requests for approval, sorry. And that's where the coding review started to happen. So at first we started with some trial runs of VIAF-bot, and then we went to the full thing. So all in all, 3 rounds of approval and several months of Wikipedia bureaucracy navigation.
Right, but I think it's fair to say that the bot is the better for all of that comment and discussion and review. Certainly.
There was a lot that was picked up along the way. A lot of input from a lot of the users has been incorporated into the bot, especially in some of the late testing stages. And a lot of people reviewing some of the edits that it made. It was really refined towards the end. And also towards the beginning we got a lot of input from German Wikipedians who were giving us, because they've already done this, their authority control integration, but in a hand-done way rather than using a bot. So we got a lot of input both at the beginning and towards the end from Wikipedians.
Right. And so since the bot has started running, has it just been smooth sailing, just scrolling page after page? You just sit back and watch it scroll by? Well,
as you'll notice, or you might be able to see, this is running about 200,000 entries at the moment. And this is the second time we've run it, because the first time we ran it was sort of like our early testing phase, and that did about 60,000 entries. And we had to work out some kinks through some of those positions. The funniest part of this running was that during the first phase, the bot actually choked when it was editing the Steve Jobs page.
For no apparent reason.
Well, it's some
mysterious.
Cosmic mojo was at
first, I think. Yeah. Pretty funny. So can you say something about who has been involved in this process? I know You, of course, have been involved. You mentioned Andrew from the Wikipedia residence at the British Library.
Right. Yeah, so Andrew has been very helpful in that. And so I have done most of the coding and handling the data side of things. But Andrew has been really fantastic in handling some more of the community aspects. But not only that, he has done some, he did rewrite the template. So typically, the template is now more extensible, whereas it wasn't before. Mm-hmm. So Andrew refactored this template. And so that's also going to mean now that it is going to include Orchid and ISNI. And we've done that, so that's new news. But those are also similarly obscure acronyms that I was hoping that you could unravel.
Yeah, so Orchid is an organization where people can go to orchid.org. It's actually a little hard to find on the web because you find all kinds of orchidy things on the web and don't immediately get to Orchid. But orchid.org is a place where researchers can register their identities, their names, and connect themselves to their research. So if you've written an article, or if you have a patent, or if you've obtained some grant funding, you can go on the site and register your name and then attach it to your research. So really of great interest to both researchers and libraries, organizations that help to manage and disambiguate names.
Right. That's fantastic. So not only now are we filling in some of the gaps, but we're also broadening the scope of who we're going to cover in our authority control, both in our projects and OCLC projects, and also on Wikipedia.
Yeah. Oh, and I think it's worth noting that in the October update of VIAF, Wikipedia is now included as a data source, much as many of the National Library name authority files are. So Wikipedia represented in VIAF in a more official capacity, which is also nice.
It keeps on getting better and better.
Yeah.
And we'll let you know once these numbers have continued ticking up to their maximum.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.